Good morning. Well, not really, because it's like 7 p.m. But I wanted to get this review out because I've been kind of lazy recently because I've been feeling like shit and I don't want to make any more excuses, so dropping a review. Today we're going to review this wonderful mouse that my girlfriend gifted me, the Logitech G203 lightsync. I actually got her the Prodigy and I could compare both of them because I used the Prodigy for a while before I gave it to her. And the biggest notable difference is the coating and just kind of like the overall build quality. It's kind of improved overall on the lightsync, as well as the RGB is improved. I have it as one color, but you can set it as 3 different colors on each like point if you care about that. The feet are also improved. I actually swapped them out for core pads to see if that would help me out with this mouse. But they do have white feet instead of black feet now, as well as the updated coating, which is a lot grippier and doesn't suffer from that same problem where the Prodigy would yellow after using it for a while. But let me get into this. This is just going to be a general G203 review more so than a comparison video. Starting off with the shape, this is the legendary egg shape, the OG egg shape, that basically it curves only slightly upwards in towards the center of the mouse, but more notably it curves inwards sharply kind of down here, and then it also curves downwards into the base from the top, so the top is wider than the bottom of the mouse. And you either love this or you hate it, but I gotta be honest with you, this shape just didn't work for me. It was easy to pick up, but because of the other features in this mouse, it kind of ruined the experience for me. For example, when I would pick up and put the mouse down too quickly, as you can hear, it kind of makes that noise, as well as sometimes, since the buttons are tensioned so lightly, that I would accidentally click them when placing the mouse back down. It was really annoying and I really didn't enjoy it because of that, as well as just having trouble gripping the mouse the way I grip it 131. That's probably just me, but do keep it in mind, it didn't really work out for me, so that might affect my review. But this is a nice small, it's ideal for fingertip shape, but it works in claw as well. The sides are rounded and flare outwards, kind of like an egg. That's kind of where the name comes from. The hump is towards the rear, which makes it good for claw, but the hump down the middle also curves down pretty smoothly from each side, and very light comfort curves in the buttons. You can see that right there. They're nothing, too dramatic, but they are there. Moving on to the buttons, they're snappy, but they're not very tactile. I'll do a little button test right now. If you play Minecraft PvP, or if you just play, any game that requires a lot of clicking often, this is going to be a good mouse just because how snappy and how responsive the clicks are. Even though they do feel, I don't want to say mushy, but they're not very tactile. They're not very satisfying to spam sometimes. Very little travel per click, almost no pre-travel as well. When picking up the mouse, like I said, I often accidentally click the buttons when placing it back down. As for the scroll wheel, I couldn't really do my regular 131 grip where I have my middle finger on the scroll wheel because it was tensioned so lightly that sometimes I would accidentally scroll the wheel and it would make me jump in Counter-Strike or Valorant, which was really annoying, and it required me to put my ring finger and my middle finger on the right click to keep it comfortable, and it's just not wide enough for that, which was unfortunate, but I made do as much as I could. It's a little bit loud as well, as you heard. It's nowhere near Zowie level loud, but it reminds me of that a little bit. The scroll click is also very tactile. It's honestly a little bit more tactile than the main buttons. And the side buttons are also snappy, but their positioning isn't very comfortable because of the way the curve goes down. You're kind of like, if you want the flattest side of the flattest area on the sides, you're gonna have to hold it basically on the buttons to keep your finger still. So the coating, this is the coating. It's been improved over the Prodigy. No more yellowing issues apparently. The sides are a little bit textured and they're very grippy. They haven't worn down on me at all. While the hump and the main clicks are a little bit like this It reminds me of the NP01 coating. It's not as dramatic as that, but it's like a blend of matte and glossy because it's so slippery, honestly. And while it does get grippy when you start sweating, I just don't like the feeling of it. It feels like I'm always getting gunk on it, or I'm always getting it dirty, or it's always oily when it's not. No sweat issues whatsoever though, and nothing on my palm. As for the build, I wanted to start bringing out my scale just to prove it. Right there. Okay, it's about 82 grams. 82 grams, no creaking or flex whatsoever. Nothing on the base, nothing on the sides. It's well built. It's really well built, especially for $26, which it's going for now. It used to be going for $15, and that was just a steal. I really should have bought it at that time, but I didn't want to justify it. But I do have to say the scroll wheel kind of makes the rest of the mouse feel cheap, just because of how light the steps are and how much travel there is in between each step. It's hard to explain, but it's like there's a little bit too much lingering time between each step as well. It's not tactile enough. Lastly but not least is the feet and the cable. Regular rubber cable. At this price point, you can't really complain. The feet were improved over the Prodigy, but for some reason it felt kind of like the top left part of my feet, like it just felt like it wasn't there. It felt like I was just swiping my mouse on just plastic, but I don't know what was up with that. I swapped out the feet. They feel a lot better now with core pads, but the feet weren't the best. They were a little bit thin is what I assume what was causing the issue. All in all, I have to say I do recommend this mouse because this is a very good mouse for the money, especially under $30 right now. There's very little things I could recommend other than the M800 or the Viper Mini. And overall, I just think this is a good mouse. Even though it didn't work for me, it's still a good mouse. It's a good shape if you're into this. I wasn't into it very much, but I understand a lot of people really like this shape, and I feel like it's a shape that everybody should try as well, because this is iconic. There's nobody really replicating this that well, that I know of at least. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, go follow me on Twitter. See you in the next one. Bye bye.